I'm going to have a busy day, so I'm going to read something here now before I don't have time. Let me see. The only ebook I got on my phone at the moment is the book you want everyone you love to read. Everyone needs to feel that they belong, maybe to a family, a project, a community, or to another person. We are creatures of connection, and we deny this at our peril. As with many things, there is a balance to be found. If we have a few hooks out, not all of them, but some, we can hook into who we care about and what we are interested in, and we can make sense of it. We can use our spare time to do what we find satisfying, be open to new people entering our life, and take the time to assess their values and whether they align with ours. It is a good idea to have people around us who make us feel positive about ourselves. People who, if they do challenge us, do so in a way that makes us feel enlightened rather than worse, and who are on our side. In any group of people, any school, workplace, social group, or large family, subgroups naturally form. This isn't a bad thing or a good thing. It's just normal human behavior. Getting closer to a person or a couple of people means a subgroup forms, and finding a place within a group can be formative for our sense of identity and belonging. The dynamics of groups means that not only do we mirror those around us to build a sense of who we are, but we also contrast with those outside our group to determine who we are not. That is why being part of groups is so important, and why it can feel difficult if we find ourselves left out. A woman wrote to me because she struggled with this balance and found herself unable to initiate friendships with people beyond her husband and child, and the friends her husband had made. I'm a 32-year-old mom of a happy baby. I love him and I'm enjoying being on maternity leave. My husband is a lovely man who adores being a dad. We have nice friends, but they're friends my husband has made. I go to the baby groups and I chat to people. But how do you actually make friends with someone? I was hoping our prenatal group would be a good place to make new friends, but it is a bit cliche. It felt like being back in school. It felt competitive, and we don't have much money for all the baby accessories, activities, and classes. We went to a barbecue at one mom's house, and it was a mansion, and I'm embarrassed that our house is rented and small. People have commented in the past that they don't know me, or it's a shame they never got to know me. In college, I focused on academic work rather than hanging out with people. I'm worried that if I don't get into a group of mom's friends, it will start to affect my child because he won't make toddler friends or go on play dates, and I want to give him every chance of happiness. Wow, this is such a authentic, raw reflection, and I can totally relate to that, even though I haven't had the children yet. But yeah, I can relate to that. Jealousy, insecurity about oneself, we all have that. Firstly, this woman can do relationships because she seems to have two good ones with her baby and her husband. What she is doing is something we can all be guilty of from time to time. Making excuses because she is finding it hard to make a connection. She's being invited to other people's houses but is still seeing the groups and subgroups that form naturally as being cliquey, and thinking that they must all be competitive. In analyzing other people's behavior rather than her own, she has an excuse for why she cannot do anything to improve her connections. However, because we can't control other people's behavior, but we can control our own, I found the best place to begin is by thinking about our role in the problem. How do we contribute to the situation if we haven't got a group to belong to? What is it that we do that makes us feel either too superior or too inferior to join. Really, I don't think this woman wanted to make new friends. She was satisfied by the connection she already had. And her struggle is that she wanted to make friends for her son's sake rather than for her own. We don't all need the same number of connections. Some people can get by with very few, and this woman is an example of that. I don't know if it's possible to form genuine connections and alliances if you are not doing it for your own enjoyment and sense of kinship. In order to connect with people, we need to use our courage to open ourselves up, share our vulnerabilities, and take care of others when they do the same. To really understand another person and to be understood, we don't have to be the same. We don't have to have the same feelings or lack of feelings, the same label, or even hold the same opinions. But we do have to be willing to make ourselves vulnerable, to share how we experience ourselves and how our world, our responses, feelings, and thoughts. We do need to be open to being impacted by the other person in turn. What is important is that we get close to understanding how someone feels and feel for them and be felt for in turn. To truly connect with others, we need to be not who we think we ought to be or who we think they want us to be, but who we really are. If we never take the risk of disconcerting someone, we never give ourselves the opportunity of letting ourselves be known. To be known, we have to be seen, and we will never be seen if we hide. Anxiety about how we come across can often get in the way of connecting. A way of circumnavigating that feeling is to supplant it by being interested in the person we've met instead. This means shifting our focus away from self-consciousness and towards curiosity in the other person. When we manage this, it becomes easier to be delighted in the someone rather than drained by them. One of the ways to increase wisdom and connection is to speak in the moment and work things out in conversation rather than thinking we need to have everything right before we speak. This means not filtering all your thoughts. Tell someone, "I want to know you," or try to articulate other scary, self-revelatory thoughts without being certain how they are going to land. You can work out how you feel in your relationship with another and not always in your own head. Say things spontaneously. Practice being yourself and being unsure how you will be received. Dare to share. Is this a fail-safe formula? No, it is a risk. But it's a risk worth taking. If we only have a relationship with another person in our head, assuming we know how they will respond to us, we are not really having a relationship with them. When my correspondent talked of the others being cliquey or competitive, she wasn't relating to them. She was relating to how she imagined they were, and this is not how we connect. If you do share who you really are and still find it difficult to find a group, then perhaps it is about looking elsewhere for your tribe. I think about how comfortable I feel in my life in London, where I'm part of many groups, some formal, like a choir I joined, and some informal, like groups of friends. Before moving here, I remember feeling bewildered, like I was often on the outside. I think that's because I hadn't found my people yet. The stereotype of moving away from a small town to a big city and finding your people there makes sense because with more people to choose from comes greater chances of meeting like-minded people whom you can connect with. And perhaps I hadn't found my people yet because I hadn't really found out who I was either. One of the best ways of finding out who you are is in spontaneous conversation with others. Well, I think this chapter just shows up in the perfect time. I'm about to get on someone's podcast show tomorrow and have a chat. She's a totally new friend to me, and I've been always able to open myself up to strangers, like total strangers on the street. I can tell him or her anything about me. I can be myself. I don't need to overthink what to say and what not to say, and I feel so free to be myself, and I couldn't be happier to connect with strangers like that. That's how I connect with people and fund my tribe. As a matter of fact, I'm waiting for my friends, and I don't know why they're still not here yet. Yeah, we just finished our run. Maybe they just went on their second lap. Alright, I'm gonna just enjoy some breakfast here, some sweet potatoes and the corn while waiting for them. Shout out to this book. The book you want everyone you love to read. I highly recommend this book by Phillipa. Yeah. Thank you for reading with me again.